Hello and welcome to this video on a full apology. So, Canada, really good at apologizing. In fact, I went for a walk the other day and either I or somebody else said sorry probably about once every 5 minutes, right? Because, we're just got to find a way past each other on narrow paths and all that sort of thing. So sorry is kind of a natural thing. But it's more of a just kind of like, acknowledging that some slight social awkwardness happened or some minor inconvenience, or maybe just the fact that you noticed I existed at all, right? It's, oh, sorry, that's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the kind of sorry that matters in relationships, right? Long-term relationships. We're not talking about, stubbing our toe kind of stuff. We're talking about things where we actually need to take genuine responsibility. And so we're looking at a genuine or full apology. And apparently apology is hard to spell. Okay, so a full apology is essentially an act of responsibility taking, right? We're not looking at getting away with anything here. This is not a way to manipulate. This is not just another way to pretend. If you use it that way, you will have taken a very, very significant tool out of your own hands. You will basically be shooting yourself in the foot and setting yourself up for a much harder relationship moving forward. So treat this with respect. If you are kind of in a relationship where your apologies have stopped meaning anything, simply because they haven't meant anything, they have been empty, they have been either blaming or they have been justifying or they have been just a way to get away with something, right? Because, oh, but I said I was sorry, so you can't talk about that anymore, right? That's not what we're talking about at all. We are talking about taking responsibility of your own behavior and its impact on others. And so it's really super important to remember that a full apology can only happen when it is only about what we've done and kind of where we're at, right? So the first step in a full apology is taking responsibility. This is kind of the I did whatever it is that you believe that you did, right? I did slam the door when I left our conversation yesterday. I did forget to take out the garbage for the 33rd time in a row, right? I did that. It's just a basic statement. It's not I did it because, it's not I did it so that, it's not there's no self-justification happening here. It's just a straight up acknowledgement of a behavior. You're saying, that thing that happened, that was me, okay? Which means you actually have to believe that to be true, right? You cannot apologize, you cannot take responsibility for something that you don't feel like you actually did or you're responsible for, right? So that might be a conversation that happens to kind of clarify what people believe you are responsible for, but a full apology starts with, this is what I think I did, right? I drank too much. Right? I made a bad choice. I wasn't thinking about you. I literally did not consider you when I made that choice. Right? Those sorts of things. Take responsibility. And this is kind of like one of those things where you're like, are you a seriously grown-up human being? Right? Are you actually going to take responsibility for your life? Such a critical question. It has to be answered before you can do a full apology, because if you're not willing to take responsibility, then you can't do this. So, wow, that was intense. Okay, so the second thing is, okay, so yeah, I did that thing, and then this is what I believe the impact of that was on you. right? So if this is responsibility, this is empathy, right? The ability to understand the impact of reality on other people, right? So I did this. I believe that this is the impact on you. So I slammed the door. I think that was kind of scary for you, and certainly was really loud and might hurt your ears, and communicated to the whole house that things weren't going well. So it might even have scared the kids, right? Impact of my behavior, right? So you can see how powerful that would be just right off the bat, right? If somebody came to you and said, yes, I did this thing, and I think it had this impact on you, because this is a guess or a hunch, right? This is maybe a little bit of knowledge from what they've told you before, right? So you're trying to gather in kind of what you might understand having gone on. So we don't hold on to this, right? We don't say, this is how you feel, because, well, frankly, you probably don't know. But this is what I think you feel. So what that communicates is that you're actually caring about the impact, right? So if they need you to know more about this, well, put on your listening for understanding hat and prepare to go for a ride. Because you need to understand what the impact your behavior has, because frankly that will motivate you to not do it again. The third thing is kind of an action to prevent it happening again. So this is not an empty promise, right? You're not going to say something like, if you've done it 33 times in a row, saying you'll never forget again, right, is probably not a promise you can keep. All right, but you can say something like, I'm going to put it in my day timer, and I'm going to make sure it reminds me the day before to put the garbage out, so it's less likely that I will forget, right? So I'm going to try something. Right? I'm going to try something that's different, so that maybe next time I won't make the same mistake, right? I will take it seriously. And the person receiving this may or may not believe that that will be an effective thing to do, but if you do it, put in a timer to remember, then chances are you're reducing the likelihood that you're going to have to do this again, right? And so the idea here is to actually have an action which is likely to reduce the behavior. And the more harmful the behavior is, the more intense the action probably needs to be, right? So if you're actually doing something, if you're apologizing for harming a loved one, then you are going to need to take some pretty significant action in order to stop that from happening again, right? And so you need to be serious about this. This isn't trivial. The intensity of the action needs to follow the intensity of the impact of your behavior. So these three things are tied together. You cannot make them up on the spot, right? This isn't something you just walk up and I'm going to do a full apology and I'm going to make it up as I go. No, this requires forethought and consideration. And then, 4, ask for nothing. Right? You're not looking for a immediate, being told, oh, I forgive you, it's all going to be okay now. No, you're actually need to know that some people are going to struggle with accepting your apology. They're going to struggle, especially if this is kind of the first few times that you've used it. They're not going to believe you, right? All your other sorries haven't done anything. Why will this be any different? Which is why it is so critical that these 3 things be real, right? That you are actually going to do something differently. And if you ask for nothing, this is not a way to get out of trouble. This is not a way to force the other person to feel like they should just let it go. That's not what this is for. There is no push in a full apology. It is simply offering up your own responsibility, your empathy, and your desire to make amends. That's it. Right? It's just letting them know this is where I'm at with this. And I'm hoping, but not asking, for you to find this helpful. Right? Where there is no push. No push. Hear me? No push. We are not wanting anything other than to take responsibility. Literally, that's it. You just want to take responsibility for your behavior. And then the fifth thing is you want to ask, is there anything you need right now? Great question to ask, by the way, just generically in a relationship, right? I've had clients that have said, you know what, this is a great question. This question feels so good for people to say, hey, is there anything you need from me right now? Super good feeling when that happens. All of this, and then asking that question, slightly different, right? Now we're saying, okay, again, this is not a push, this is an offer. An offer, right? Is there anything else you need right now? From me, from somebody else, whatever. Lets them know that you don't think that everything up here means that they've done what you've done everything you need to do. No, this is a starting place. This is a place where you begin your apology, right? And it gives them all the signals they need in order to be able to begin to think about what would you need to do for them to be able to move on. Super intense question for them. They may not have an answer for you. They may in fact have a mean answer for you. You don't have to do anything that they say if it's going to be harmful, right? This isn't a free blank card, blank check that they can write on your skin, right? This is simply curiosity about, is there anything else you can do? And then you get to decide what you do, right? You do have to engage with this though, right? If you're not going to do what they ask you to do, then there needs to be some really good reasons why not. But ultimately, it begins the dialogue of what does it mean to be in a relationship now that you've done this, and now that you're responsible for this, and now that you're going to work towards making sure it doesn't happen again. All right, so a very powerful tool. Again, we're going to put this screen up. You can pause, think about it. What would it mean to apologize where it's simply about you taking responsibility and wanting to give the other person a chance to let you know what they need?